Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to add fics to SquidgeWorld. SquidgeWorld uses the same basic code that the A03, the Archive of Our Own, uses, and that code was developed by the OTW, the Organization for Transformative Works. They're an awesome organization out there, and SquidgeWorld is the first site that is using the OTW's code that is not A03. So if you are not familiar, then this is much easier to use than the eFiction software that used to run the precursor to SquidgeWorld, which was Page's Wonderful World of Make-Believe. Okay, so on with it. So first thing, this is the main page when you go to squidgeworld.org. And I have my fic over here. My fic is in Grammarly. I've already run it through Grammarly. So here it is. It's for a SGA Saturday prompt. So this is my fic. So what I'm going to do is this time I'm going to, once I'm signed into my account, you can tell you're signed in because it says hi and your pen name. And this is what this is what you see. So you've got all these different options, but what we're going to do right now is we're going to post. So I'm going to click on post and then I'm going to click on new work. So later on I'll do another one that shows how to import work, but for now we're just going to do new work. So, all right. The things that are highlighted in this orangish color, those are mandatory, okay? So you have to have something in those. The things that are not, they're just in black, those are not mandatory. So mandatory things are ratings, archive warnings, fandoms, the work title, and the language. So that is something that will catch you from time to time, even though there's only one language in the archive right now. So, all right, so this is what the post a new fic looks like. So what you're going to do is rating. All right, so this fic I'm going to say is teen and up audiences. Archive warnings. So these are the basic archive warnings that you have to have. You have to have at least one, and 90% of the time people are going to choose no archive warnings apply. Now maybe it's a death fic, or maybe it's non-con, maybe it's a major character death of an underage character. You, at that point, would choose major character death and underage. So you can choose at least one of these. You must choose at least one of these, but you can also choose other options. There is, if you want a surprise, you can choose not to use archive warnings. But there's a lot of people who will not read your fic if you choose this, just FYI. Like, I found one fic one time that I loved the pairing and I started to go into it. I had not noticed that they chose not to choose or to choose archive warnings, and that fic ended up being a death fic, which I really, really detested. So you can do this if you want to, but 90% of the time, people are going to choose no archive warnings apply. All right, fandom. All right, so this is very unlike other like eFiction. In this, you actually get to type in what the fandom is. And there's a couple of nice things here. So I'm going to say this is Stargate Atlantis. So I type in Stargate, and here's all the fandoms that it found with Stargate in it. So you've got all your, Stargate SG-1 or Stargate Atlantis. You've got Sentinel Stargate crossover, which you can use, or you can just choose the Sentinel fiction, the Sentinel fandom, and a Stargate fandom, however you'd like to do it. In my case, I'm choosing Stargate Atlantis. All right, categories. This is basically, what is this fic? So my fic, I write almost exclusively / male. There's also female, male, gen, multi, so your thruples and such, and other. And this is not required. You do not need to add that in there. All right, so relationships. So in my fic, I have Evan Lorne in a relationship with Dr. Parrish. And there are right there. Now, say I also had Radek Zelenka and John Shepard. If I put in Radek Zelenka and hey, see, I don't see a Radek Zelenka John Shepard. I can actually type in Radek Zelenka John Shepard, and it's not going to find anything. It'll find things that are close, but it's not going to find it. And that's okay. If it's a brand new relationship that's not in the system, if it's a new fandom that's not in the system, you can add it by simply typing it in and choosing it. In this case, I'm adding Radek Zelenka John Shepard. Now, that's not one that I'm adding for this, but that is as easy as you want. So I'm going to take this out of here because I don't need it. But if there is a new relationship, if there is a new character, if there's an additional tag that you want to add or additional fandom that you want to add, because new fandoms crop up every single day. And a lot of the fandoms that are in the old Wonderful World of Make-Believe are older fandoms. So we need to, kind of come up to speed with adding new fandoms. So add a new, if you got a fic out there, add that fandom to the database. It's as simple as just typing it in and pressing return. As long as it's sitting there with that little, X next to it, then you're absolutely fine. Characters. So my characters here are Evan Lorne and Parrish. So Dr. Parrish. If you wanted to, a lot of people, he's known as Dr. Parrish. He doesn't in canon have a real first name. You could have typed in David Parrish if you wanted to, and it doesn't find it. Now, what it does is, if it doesn't find a David that's attached to Stargate Atlantis, it goes and finds other Davids in the system. So Ziva David from NCIS, David Hodges from CSI. So you could actually type in David Parrish if you wanted to do that. And what will happen is your story will use David Parrish as a character, but in the background, I will equate David Parrish to Dr. Parrish. So you don't have to worry about that. So anyway, all right. I'm gonna take that back out. This fic also has Rodney McKay in it, and it has John Shepard in it. All right, there we go. Now, additional tags. So this is actually Don't Ask, Don't Tell related, so DADT. Let's see if it's out there. Hey, there's no suggestions. So just add it to the system. And this will be a, I also wanted to add a kind of a funny tag of Rodney McKay is a badass, just because. So those are additional tags out there. This is also post episode. Actually, I can say episode related. Do we have a tag out there? No, we don't. So post episode 2 E17 coup etat. There we go. So those are my additional tags. I could also put romance here, and romance is in there. So just choose it from the list. So that's my additional tags that I've added. Okay, work title. So my work title, because I couldn't come up with a title, was Don't Ask. Oh, crap. I always forget how to do this. Don't ask d'etat. Okay. There we go. So that's my title. Creator suits. So on SquidgeWorld, you have everyone gets one account. They get they get one account and they get one pseudonym as a default. But if you have, say, you have all of your fics that are Disney related are created under a pseudonym, 123, and all of your stuff that is, say, Stargate related is created under another author name. What you can actually do is you can create multiple pseudonyms and log your stories under each pseudonym. So that'll be covered later on. But so in this system, I have Squidgy and I have Squidgy PDX because I'm known as both. So there we go. Co-creators, that's easy to do now. If I had a co-creator, I could click that in there and I could choose Peja. And there, Peja would be my co-creator. So you can add a co-creator if you wanted to. Summary. Okay, I hate this kind of crap. So I actually typed a summary over here. So let's just go steal it. Boom, 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 boom. This is the archive of our own, and this is SquidgeWorld. There's my summary. Notes. I did the same thing here for the SGA Saturday prompt. Stumble, stumble. There we go. So there are notes at the beginning and now notes at the end as well. So notes at the end is new. Notes at the beginning was in the old software, but notes at the end is something new. Okay, and sorry for the snoring dog in the background. All right, post to collection challenges. So this software allows people to run collections. So when I created this software, I created a collection called Page's Wonderful World of Make-Believe collection, and every story that was added to the archive from the old archive was added to that collection. Then I added a new one, and I wanted it to say something like new works for SquidgeWorld, and so I did that. Now, challenges do exist in this software, and you can do different challenges. So I'm hoping that when this starts to take off again, that people will start adding challenges in there. Like maybe we'll have a monthly challenge, with a different prompt every month, and that would be something that would be awesome. So you would actually respond to the challenge by adding your fic that I'm adding right here to that challenge, and that challenge is part of a collection. Gifting. All right, now gifting is also something that's new, and I can say that I wrote this fic for somebody else on the archive. Now, if this person doesn't exist on SquidgeWorld, then this doesn't really, this doesn't apply. But if this person exists on SquidgeWorld, like I'm gonna pick on Peja again, I could say Peja, and there choose her, and Peja is the recipient of this gift. Now, I will say this. There are people that have abused this in the past. They have done something, written something that was very, very racist, very, very hateful, and gifted it to a person. That will not be tolerated. You do that kind of shit, you're out. You're banned. No more. If you're going to gift something, gifts are supposed to be something nice. Gift, in this case, is the actual word, is the actual gift giving, not the German word gift, which means poison. So, gift. Pleasant things only. All right. Now, these options here, let's go through them one by one. This work is a remix, a translation, a podfic, or was inspired by another work. So, if I wanted to say that this was inspired by something else, what I could do is click on this option, and if the work that is inspired me to write this, or if I did a podfic of something that's in the archive, all I have to do is get the archive URL from something within squidgeworld.org itself and put it in here, and the system will go through and tag it so that it'll show this, that this fic that I'm adding right now was inspired by that other work that's in the archive. If the work does not exist on the archive, it exists on AO3, it exists on fanfiction.net, something like that, then what you would do is you would still put the URL in, but you'd also have to put in the title and the author and choose the language. A lot of times over on AO3, this is used for translation. So if like I had written a few Grimm stories, and someone wanted to translate them into Russian and Chinese. So what they did was they added my story here, and they marked it as a translation from English into Chinese, from England into English into Russian. So you at least have to put in the URL if the work that inspired your work is on SquidgeWorld. If it's not on SquidgeWorld, you also have to add in title, author, and language. Okay. Next item, this work is part of a series. So you can create different series in the system. If you want to, you create them on the fly. If this is a brand new work, but you know that you're going to be adding to it, you can choose a new one. I happen to have two series out there. One of them is my comment fic fills, and one of them is called Markham and Stackhouse Try to Get Everyone in Atlantis Laid. So that's a little crackpot series that I have. So, but anyway, if it's part of a series, there you go. This work has multiple chapters, so you can click this if you want to, and to indicate multiple chapters. The thing that this is good for is if you want to immediately upload multiple chapters at one time. If you are doing this, then doing this and then later on you want to add another chapter, all you need to do at that point is edit your fic and add a chapter at that point. You don't need to do it here. So this is not as useful as some people think. I mean, not at the get-go at least. Not unless you already have written all of the chapters. Okay, set a different publication date. You'll notice that any of the imported fics that have been added to SquidgeWorld from Page's Wonderful World of Make-Believe, they all have a publication date of when they were originally published over on the WUM. So some of our stories are, go back all the way to 2007, and they have publication dates from 2007. This publication date defaults to today. I'm just going to leave it as such. But if you wanted to reflect, something that you wrote, 5 years ago, and you're just now archiving it, you can actually add that in there if you wanted to. The one thing to note, if you do set a different publication date, then your fic will not show up in when people do browse works. If you were to do that and with a date in the past, your work would actually not show up here in the most recent because there have been fics added since that date that you indicated. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. All right, choose a language. So right now, the only language that is supported in the system is English. So I'm clicking English. That's mandatory. Select work skin. You can add this. There are no work skins out there, so people can customize the site to as well as they want. And if they want to, they can add their own work skin and do that. I don't. Okay, privacy settings. These are going to be important for you if you declare yourself, if you want things to be done your way only. So, first option, only show your work to registered users. So what this does is it actually adds a little lock symbol to your work. And if I'm browsing the archive anonymously, I'm not signed in, then if this is checked, I won't be able to read this story, not unless I actually log in. So that is something that a lot of people will do. Enable, yes, it's daddy. Enable comment moderation. If you want to approve comments before they are public, then choose that. And then who can comment on this work? Registered users and guests, only registered users can comment, or no one can comment. So anonymous and registered commenters, only registered people who are registered have an account on SquidgeWorld, or nobody. You can actually set it up so that nobody can add comments to your work. And then finally, the last item is the work text itself. So this is your story text. Either rich text, you can add it. If you write in Microsoft Word, you can add in, copy from Microsoft Word directly into here, and it'll keep your formatting. What I did earlier was a short story, and I have it in HTML format, so I'm going to go grab it. It is right. Where's Grammarly? There's Grammarly. All right, so now I'm going to go and highlight all my fic items. If you don't use Grammarly, it's an awesome, awesome tool. All right, so I have copied that, and now paste. So it pasted everything in there. Now, at this point, we're ready to go. So we're going to click preview. And what preview is going to do is it's going to say, all right, draft successfully created, blah, blah, blah. It'll be automatically deleted. So if I was to leave this and not do anything with it, on January 3rd, it would automatically be deleted without being posted. So here's all my stuff, team audience, no archive warnings, mail, blah, blah, blah. So this is including the tags that existed in the system and the tags that I added. And then there's my collection, new work for SquidgeWorld. Dun, dun, dun. So here's everything. And at this point, I think everything looks good. And I'm going to click post. And at this point, work was successfully posted. It should appear in the work listings within the next few minutes. So what's going to happen is there's a few jobs that run that go through and archive it. It'll compare these tags to tags already in the system and add so that when you click on those tags, you can filter on them. And then it'll tell me later on, oh, you know what, I don't know what this tag is. You're going to have to tell me what to do with it. If it can be something that can be filtered on or if it's something that will never be filtered on. So there we go. That is how to add a work to the system. You got any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. The best thing you could do is click on, at the very bottom of the page, technical support and feedback. If you click on that, you can fill it out. It'll automatically fill in your name, your email address. Hey, look, there's me. Select language, brief summary of what you wanted, and then your comment. So if you have a comment, you find a bug or something, you can send that to me, and I'll get back to you about it. So please do partake of the archive. There's a ton of stuff out there. Works. So you'll notice that that work that I just added is not here yet because it hasn't been archived, or it hasn't been added to the indexes. As soon as it's added to the indexes, it'll show up here. Again, don't hesitate to contact me, and thanks. That's just about it.